On a Tuesday morning in March, I walked into my daughter's apartment and found her holding my favorite cardigan like it was contaminated. "Mom, seriously, you're wearing this to lunch with us?" Ashley wrinkled her nose. "It's from the 90s. Can't you afford something newer?" I looked down at the soft gray wool I had worn for 20 years. "It's perfectly fine, honey." She laughed, tossing it onto her couch. "It's embarrassing. Kyle's parents are meeting us at that Italian place downtown. They own 3 car dealerships. Can you please try to look less poor?" The word hung in the air between us. Poor. Like I had not spent 35 years working as a legal secretary. Like I had not raised her alone after her father left. Like my modest lifestyle was something shameful. "I'll wear what I'm comfortable in," I said quietly. Ashley rolled her eyes. "Whatever. Just don't sit too close to me." "My name is Diane Foster. I am 62 years old. I live in a small town called Riverside, about 40 minutes from where my daughter Ashley lives with her fiancé Kyle in the city." If someone had told me 5 years ago that my relationship with my only child would crumble like this, I would never have believed them. But here I am. And you know what? I have learned something important. Sometimes the people we love the most are the ones who hurt us the worst. Before I tell you what happened at that Italian restaurant, before I explain how everything changed in ways Ashley never saw coming, I want to know something. Where are you right now? Are you reading this on your phone while waiting somewhere? Drop a comment and tell me where you are, because I have learned that strangers who have been hurt the same way understand better than family sometimes. The restaurant was expensive, the kind with cloth napkins and waiters who describe every dish like poetry. Kyle's parents, Richard and Beverly Hunt, arrived in designer clothes that probably cost more than my monthly rent. Beverly's eyes swept over me, pausing on my cardigan, my simple dress, my sensible shoes. I saw the judgment before she even spoke. "Diane, how lovely to meet you," she said in a tone that meant the opposite. Throughout lunch, Ashley laughed too loud at Kyle's jokes, touched his arm constantly, and barely looked at me. When I mentioned my work at the law firm, Beverly interrupted. "Oh, a secretary. How nice." The way she said it made my 35 years of experience sound like nothing. Kyle kept checking his phone. Ashley kept shooting me warning looks whenever I spoke. I felt invisible, and too visible at the same time. After lunch, as we walked to our cars, Ashley pulled me aside. "Mom, did you have to mention that you take the bus?" Beverly looked horrified. "I do take the bus. I don't own a car right now because insurance got too expensive." "Well, you don't have to announce it like you're proud of being broke," she hissed. Something inside me went cold. "Ashley, when did you become like this?" Her face hardened. "Like what? Realistic?" "Mom, I'm marrying into a family with money and connections. I can't have you showing up looking like you shop at thrift stores." "I do shop at thrift stores." She threw up her hands. "Exactly. That's my point. Can you at least try to look successful? Or just don't come to things where Kyle's family will be there." I drove home in silence, my hands tight on the steering wheel. I had bought my car back from the shop just that morning, spending money I had been saving. The cardigan, she mocked? I had worn it the day I got promoted to senior secretary. The dress? I had sewn it myself because I enjoyed sewing, not because I could not afford better. But to Ashley, my choices were embarrassments. My phone buzzed at a red light. A text from her. Also, about the wedding. "I think it's better if you don't sit with the main family. We'll put you with some cousins in the back." Less awkward. Less awkward. For whom? I pulled over and just sat there for 20 minutes, watching people walk by, wondering when my daughter had stopped seeing me as her mother and started seeing me as a problem to manage. That night, I could not sleep. I kept thinking about Ashley's face when she looked at my clothes, The way she said poor, like it was a disease. I had raised her differently than this. After her father walked out when she was 5, I worked full-time and went to night school to get my paralegal certificate. I sewed her Halloween costumes by hand. I taught her that things do not define you, that kindness matters more than appearance. Where had that girl gone? Around midnight, I got up and went through my photo albums. Ashley at 8, hugging me after I finally saved enough to take her to the beach. Ashley at 16, crying on my shoulder after her first heartbreak. Ashley at 21, graduating college debt-free because I had worked overtime for 4 years to pay her tuition. Every sacrifice I made, she had forgotten. Or worse, she remembered and did not care. 3 weeks passed. Ashley called once, asking if I could send her $500 for wedding dress alterations. "I'm a little short this month," she said. No apology for the restaurant, no acknowledgement of how she had treated me, just her hand out, expecting me to fill it like I always had. "Ashley, I don't have $500 right now." "Mom, come on, it's for my wedding dress. This is important." "So is college. So is your car insurance when you were 23. So were the 12 other times I bailed you out." Silence. Then her voice turned cold. "Wow. Okay. I see how it is. When I actually need you, you're suddenly broke. But you can afford that ugly cardigan, right?" She hung up. I stared at my phone, feeling something break inside me that I did not think could break anymore. 2 days later, my supervisor at the law firm, Mrs. Patricia Brennan, called me into her office. I had worked under Patricia for 15 years. She knew I was reliable, detail-oriented, and discreet. "Diane, I have something sensitive to discuss." She slid a folder across her desk. Inside were eviction notices, rental agreements, and court documents. "This case just came in. Tenant is being evicted for non-payment of rent, 8 months behind. The landlord is our client." I scanned the papers. Then I saw the names: Ashley Foster and Kyle Hunt. My hands went numb. "Patricia, this is my daughter." Her face softened. "I thought the last name looked familiar. I'm sorry, Diane. If you want to recuse yourself from handling the paperwork, I understand." I looked at the documents again. 8 months, $3,200 owed. Court date set for April 15th. Less than 3 weeks away. That evening, I sat at my kitchen table staring at those papers. Ashley and Kyle were being evicted, 8 months behind on rent, while Ashley asked me for $500 for dress alterations, while she mocked my thrift store clothes and asked me to sit in the back at her wedding. I thought about calling her, warning her, but something stopped me. Maybe it was remembering how she looked at my cardigan. Maybe it was years of being treated like I was not enough, not successful enough, not wealthy enough, not worth her respect. Or maybe it was something deeper. A quiet voice inside me that said, "Let her face consequences for once. Let her learn what struggle actually looks like." I put the papers back in my bag and went to bed. I did not call her. I did not warn her. For the first time in my life, I chose myself over my daughter's comfort. Over the next 2 weeks, I did my job. I processed the eviction paperwork with the same care I gave every case. I filed the court documents. I scheduled the hearing. And I said nothing to Ashley. She called me once during that time, bright and chatty like nothing had happened. "Mom, I need your address for the wedding invitations. Also, did you think about what I said? About sitting in the back? It's really better that way." My voice was calm. "Sure, Ashley. Whatever you think is best." "Great. Oh, and can you maybe get your hair done before the wedding? Like, at an actual salon? I'll even pay for it." She would pay for my hair but owed $3,200 in back rent. The irony was almost funny. "I'll think about it," I said. We hung up. She had no idea what was coming. April 15th arrived cold and gray. The courthouse was downtown, a 40-minute drive from my house. I arrived early, carrying my work bag with extra copies of all the documents. Our client, the landlord Mr. Bernard Shaw, was already there with his lawyer. I set up in the small room where we would wait, organizing papers, reviewing notes. I was professional. I was prepared. And I was strangely calm. At 9:15, I saw them walk in. Ashley wore designer jeans and an expensive blouse I had never seen before. Kyle wore a suit that probably cost $2,000. They looked confident, unbothered. They clearly thought this was a formality they could talk their way out of. Then Ashley saw me. Her face went white. She walked over slowly, confusion in her eyes. "Mom, what are you doing here?" "I work here," I said simply. "For the law firm representing your landlord." Ashley's mouth opened and closed. No sound came out. Kyle stepped up beside her, his jaw tight. "You've got to be kidding me. You're working against us?" "I'm doing my job. I process eviction cases. Yours is one of them." Ashley's voice rose. "And you didn't think to tell me? To warn me? What kind of mother are you?" People in the hallway turned to look. I kept my voice low and even. "The kind who raised you to pay your bills on time. The kind who taught you responsibility." Apparently, those lessons didn't stick. Kyle grabbed Ashley's arm. "Come on, we need to talk to our lawyer." They walked away, Ashley looking back at me with something between fury and disbelief. I returned to my paperwork. My hands were steady. I felt no guilt, only a strange sense of clarity. The hearing was scheduled for 10 o'clock. At 9:45, Ashley approached me again. This time she was alone. Her eyes were red. "Mom, please. We can't lose this apartment. The wedding is in 2 months. We have deposits down, plans made. If we get evicted, everything falls apart. You should have thought about that before you stopped paying rent 8 months ago. We had expenses. Kyle's business wasn't doing well. We had to keep up appearances." "Appearances," I repeated. "You chose appearances over your rent. You bought expensive clothes while owing thousands of dollars. You asked me for money for dress alterations while facing eviction. I didn't know it had gotten this bad. Kyle said he was handling it. And you believed him without checking, without taking responsibility?" Ashley's face crumbled. "Please, Mom. Can't you do something? Talk to the landlord? You know people here. You have connections." I looked at my daughter. Really looked at her. She was 29 years old enough to vote, to get married, to sign a lease, old enough to face consequences. "Ashley, do you remember when you were 16 and you failed your math class because you didn't turn in homework? What does that have to do with anything? I could have talked to your teacher. I could have made excuses. But I didn't. I let you repeat the class over summer because you needed to learn that actions have consequences. This is the same thing, just bigger. This is my life, not a high school class." "Exactly. It's your life. And it's time you took responsibility for it instead of expecting me to fix everything while you treat me like I'm not good enough to sit with your future in-laws." Ashley stepped back like I had slapped her. "That's what this is about? You're punishing me?" "I'm not punishing you. I'm letting you experience the natural consequences of your choices. There's a difference. You're supposed to help me. You're my mother. And you're supposed to respect me. You're my daughter. But that didn't stop you from calling me poor, mocking my clothes, and telling me to sit in the back at your wedding because I embarrass you." Tears ran down Ashley's face. "I didn't mean those things. I was just stressed about the wedding, about impressing Kyle's family." If you have to be cruel to your mother to impress people, then maybe those aren't people worth impressing. Kyle appeared in the hallway. "Ashley, our lawyer needs us. Now." She looked at me one more time. "Mom, please." I turned away and walked back into the room where Mr. Shaw waited. I heard Ashley's footsteps fade down the hall, My chest felt tight, but my resolve did not waver. The hearing lasted 30 minutes. The judge reviewed the evidence. 8 months of non-payment, multiple warnings sent and ignored, no payment plan requested. Ashley and Kyle's lawyer tried to argue financial hardship, but the judge was unmoved. Financial hardship does not excuse you from communicating with your landlord or attempting to make partial payments, she said. Eviction granted. You have 30 days to vacate the premises. Ashley burst into tears. Kyle put his head in his hands. Their lawyer gathered his papers with a tight expression. Mr. Shaw thanked the judge and left quickly. I packed my briefcase slowly, carefully. As I stood to leave, Ashley blocked my path. Are you happy now? Her voice shook with rage and tears. Watching your daughter lose everything? You're not losing everything. You're losing an apartment you couldn't afford while pretending to be wealthier than you are. We needed that apartment. It's in the right neighborhood near Kyle's parents. And that was more important than actually paying for it? I asked. Kyle stepped forward. Mrs. Foster, with all due respect, this is between Ashley and us. You didn't have to be so cold about this. You could have helped. I've been helping Ashley her entire life. I paid for her education. I bailed her out of credit card debt twice. I gave her money whenever she asked. And all I got in return was embarrassment and disrespect. That's not fair, Ashley whispered. Isn't it? When was the last time you called me just to talk? Not to ask for something? When was the last time you thanked me for anything? When was the last time you treated me like I mattered? Silence. Ashley looked at the floor. Kyle looked at the wall. Neither of them had an answer. That's what I thought, I said. I walked past them, through the courthouse doors, into the cool April air. Behind me, I heard Ashley crying. I did not turn around. That night, my phone exploded with messages. Ashley called 6 times. Kyle called twice. I ignored them all. Around 8 o'clock, my sister Maureen called. Diane, what the hell is going on? Ashley just called me sobbing about getting evicted and you refusing to help her. I told Maureen everything. The restaurant, the mocking, the request to sit in the back. The discovery of the eviction case. All of it. When I finished, Maureen was quiet for a long moment. She really said those things to you? About your clothes? Every word. Jesus, Diane. I knew she was getting spoiled with that Kyle kid, but I didn't realize it was this bad. Neither did I. Not until I saw it clearly. So what now? You're really going to let her face eviction without helping? Maureen, I can't help someone who doesn't respect me. I can't keep rescuing someone who treats me like garbage. At some point, she has to grow up. Maureen sighed. You're right. I know you're right. It's just hard to watch. It's harder to live through. We talked for another hour. Maureen had her own stories about Ashley's behavior at family gatherings, small comments about people's houses or cars, subtle put-downs disguised as jokes. I had dismissed them as wedding stress or youth, but now I saw the pattern clearly. My daughter had become someone I did not recognize, someone who valued appearance over substance, money over kindness, status over family. And I had enabled it by always catching her when she fell, by never letting her face real consequences, by teaching her that Mom would always fix it. Not anymore. The next morning, I received an email from Ashley. No phone call, just an email. Mom, I'm sorry for how I acted. I know I've been awful, but please, we need help. We have nowhere to go. Can you at least loan us money for a new apartment deposit? I read the email 3 times. It was not an apology. It was another request for money wrapped in words that sounded like regret. I'm sorry, but give me money is not an apology. It's manipulation. I typed back, Ashley, I love you, but I will not give you money. You and Kyle are adults with jobs. You can figure this out the same way millions of people do, by budgeting, by making hard choices, by taking responsibility. When you're ready to have a real conversation about how you've treated me, not just when you need something, I'll be here. But I'm done being your ATM and your punching bag. I hit send before I could change my mind. 10 minutes later, she responded, "Fine. I guess I know where I stand. Don't bother coming to the wedding." That hurt more than I expected. But I wrote back, "Okay." Just that one word. Then I blocked her number. I blocked Kyle's number. I needed space to breathe without constant demands and manipulations. 2 weeks passed. I threw myself into work, into my small garden, into the life I had built for myself. My coworkers knew something had happened, but they respected my privacy. Patricia checked in once. "Are you okay, Diane?" "I will be," I said, and I meant it. Then, on a Wednesday afternoon, my doorbell rang. I opened it to find Ashley standing on my porch. She looked terrible. Her hair was unwashed. She wore old jeans and a t-shirt I recognized from college. No designer clothes, no expensive jewelry, just my daughter, looking lost and small. "Hi, Mom." Her voice was barely a whisper. "Hi, Ashley." We stood there for a moment, neither of us moving. Then she started crying, really crying, the kind of sobs that shake your whole body. "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." I stepped back. "Come inside." We sat at my kitchen table, the same table where I had helped her with homework, where we had eaten breakfast together for years, where everything used to be simple. Ashley wiped her eyes with a tissue I handed her. "Kyle left me." I blinked. "What?" After the eviction, his parents found out how bad our finances were. They were furious. They said I was a gold digger who trapped their son. Kyle. He agreed with them. He said I was irresponsible, that I lived beyond my means, that I was just like my poor mother. She said those last words with such bitterness. So he left, called off the wedding, moved back in with his parents. And I'm staying with a friend right now, sleeping on her couch. "I'm sorry," I said, and I meant it. Even after everything, she was still my daughter, and her pain still hurt me. "I deserved it," Ashley said. "I deserved all of it. The eviction, Kyle leaving, everything. Because you were right, Mom. I became someone terrible." I made tea while Ashley talked. She told me everything. How Kyle had convinced her they needed to fake it until they made it, spending money they did not have to impress his parents. How she had maxed out 3 credit cards on clothes and dinners and appearances. How she had lied to me about needing money for dress alterations when really it was to make a minimum payment on debt. "I was so desperate to fit into Kyle's world that I forgot who I actually was," she said. "I forgot where I came from. I forgot what you taught me about living within your means and being proud of honest work." She looked up at me with red, swollen eyes. "And worst of all, I forgot to be kind to the one person who always loved me, no matter what. I mocked your clothes, Mom. The clothes you earned with honest work. The cardigan you were wearing that day? I remember you buying it when I was little. You were so proud because you had saved up for something nice. And I treated it like garbage. I treated you like garbage." I sat down across from her. My own eyes were wet now. "Ashley, I need you to understand something. I didn't refuse to help you to punish you. I did it because you needed to learn that actions have consequences, that you can't treat people poorly and expect them to keep rescuing you. I know, I get it now, and I'm not asking you for money. I'm not asking you to fix this. I needed to apologize. Really apologize. Not because I want something, but because you deserve to hear it." We sat in silence for a moment. Then Ashley reached across the table and took my hand. "Mom, I'm going to fix this. I got a second job. I'm seeing a financial counselor. I'm learning to budget and save and live within my means. It's going to take time, but I'm going to do it right. And I'm going to prove to you that I can be the daughter you deserved all along. That was 4 months ago. Ashley did get a second job. She worked days as a receptionist and nights waitressing. She paid off one credit card completely. She moved into a small studio apartment she could actually afford. We have coffee every Sunday morning now, here at my kitchen table. She asks about my work, my garden, my life. She listens. She apologizes when she is wrong. She thanks me when I help her, which I do sometimes now. Small things, like bringing her groceries when she is working double shifts, or helping her sew curtains for her new apartment. Last week, she showed up wearing a cardigan she had bought at a thrift store. "It reminded me of yours," she said, smiling. "I thought it was perfect." I hugged her. My daughter was finding her way back. The wedding to Kyle never happened, but Ashley says she is grateful. "I was about to marry someone who brought out the worst in me," she told me. "Now I can focus on becoming someone I'm actually proud of." If you are reading this and you see yourself in my story, if you have ever been treated poorly by someone you love, remember this: you are allowed to set boundaries. You are allowed to let people face consequences. You are allowed to choose your own dignity, and sometimes that is the most loving thing you can do, for them and for yourself.